name's Holly Roussel, and I'm a curator for the UCCA Center for Contemporary Art in Beijing, China. So Moi is an autodidacte photographer who started making work in the late 1980s. So he lived through the Cultural Revolution in China, and he grew up in a very isolated area in Shanxi province in a Tibetan diaspora community. So the exhibition looks at the early stages of his experimental career, so from the mid to late 1980s into the early 2000s. And it includes black and white photography, color photography, handmade photo books, some of his collage and contact sheets exhibited for the first time. The title of the exhibition in English, Moi, Me and My Landscape, directs our attention to the core of the project. In English, the title is a direct translation from one of his series titles from 1997, the Chinese title. In French, there's a slightly different title, Manège fantôme, which is a combination of a few different ideas. One being the idea of the phantom ride in the history of cinema, where the camera person would fix a camera to their body, and often to the front of a train to capture a panoramic film. So I was quite drawn to this idea of the artist as someone who uses their physical being as part of the apparatus to take images. And then also this idea of the manège, which is something that for me is a bit of a metaphor for the Chinese city in development during that period of time, the economic reform and opening up to the West, where cities are constantly developing. It's like a frenzied hive. And Moi is like a phantom who's kind of leading us through and while he's experiencing this constant movement of the city. Moi returned to Tianjin after a few years traveling the rural West in 1995, and he'd simultaneously created multiple photographic experiments of great formal diversity. I'm a Street Dog, Landscape of Time, My Neighborhood, and one referred today as Landscape Outside the Bus. I'm a Street Dog is a project shot in Tianjin's main intersection and nearby shopping streets. In this area, Moi was fascinated because he just could observe lives intersecting in this kind of fragmented panorama. Unlike his previous series, we don't see the facial expressions in I'm a Street Dog of the city dwellers. They're completely hidden. Instead, we're invited to roam the streets in kind of forests of stalking legs, shiny shoes, swishing hemlines, very trendy sneakers. And this is the first of two series Moi would create using this dog's eye visual perspective in the late 1990s. These works were misunderstood early on as low-angle street photography, but actually Moi was trying to convey with this unusual angle his feeling of being a stray dog within his own city. So I invite you to join us from July 1st at the Mécanique, générale to discover Moi, Me and My Landscape.